As the sun rays beam down on the tired survivor's face, he opens his eyes and prepares himself for the day, knowing that his truck is still lost at the fire station. Stepping outside the house, Jax is hit in the face with a cold breeze. He knows that fall is coming. Making his way over to the fire station, Jax cautiously scouts the area and kills any zomboids that drift too close. Observing that most of the horde is crowded up on the front side of the fire station, the survivor slowly starts sneaking his way around the backside of the building, trying to find another entry. Seeing the few zomboids that are built up on the backside of the building, Jax decides that it's best to take care of them. Escaping by the skin of his teeth, Jax begins to speed away from the fire station and begins trying to dodge every infected corpse in the road. Safely making it out of Rosewood and putting miles between him and the fire station, Jax begins to hear a rumble in his engine and flickering in his lights. His car breaks down on the side of the road and he is forced to get out and take a look. Noticing that his battery had died, the lucky survivor grabs the extra battery that he had found on his adventure to Rosewood and replaces it into the car. With the car now running, the survivor sees that the sun is beginning to set. Knowing that he needs to find some shelter for the night, Jax begins keeping his eyes peeled as he drives down the road. Spotting a house off the road, Jax decides that it might be best to peel off and have a look. With only a few shamblers on the property, the survivor grips the crowbar and begins smashing it into their squishy skulls. As the infected lunges over the fence, it gets a grab at Jack, making him lose his footing, angrily getting back up, pushing the zombie down, and squishing it like a bug. Noticing that he got slightly scratched, the survivor prays to himself that nothing bad will come of it, and begins limping around the house, looking for an entry in. On the first attempt finding an unlocked window, Jax begins to clear out the house, making sure there are no threats before he gets comfortable. With the house secure, the survivor still doesn't feel safe. Noticing a small group of zomboids that are outside of the neighboring home, Jax decides that he has enough strength to take them on and begins to meander his way over. Slowly and cautiously taking on each zomboid in his way, the survivor is careful to make sure he doesn't get scratched again, for he cannot make that same mistake. Feeling a bit of liquid trickle down his pants as he turns the corner, being met with a corpse standing right there. Thankfully, its back was to him, and it didn't get the jump on him. With the house now secured, the survivor slowly reaps his rewards, and then makes his way back over to the original house to call it a night. Waking up feeling sore, exhausted, and out of it, Jax decides to take the day off, relax, read, get his mind right before he gets back on the road, because he doesn't want to die before he finds his brother. Spending more time inside with peace, away from the chaos, it gives the survivor time to think about his situation, think about his brother. Where is he? He needs to find him. Feeling much more refreshed than he did the day before, Jax continues his morning routine as he has since the apocalypse has started, then gets ready to hit the road to continue his search for his brother. Starting to regret wasting another day on his search for his brother, Jax reminds himself that it is smarter to take care of himself instead of pushing himself to the limits, because there is no point in dying because he will not get to see his brother. As another small white house on the side of the road catches the survivor's eye, he pulls off and decides to take a look. Finding nothing more than just scraps and dead bodies, Jax hops back into his car and continues his travels to Muldra. Pulling off the main road and onto a dirt path, Jax follows it to a wooden cabin, noticing a few shambling corpses outside, hopping out the car, deciding he needs to take care of them. Finally clearing all the corpses from the cabin, Jax slowly makes his way around the property looking for any loot. After stuffing his duffel bag with all the loot that he could, the survivor stuffs himself back into his truck and continues down the road on his search for his brother. Laying his eyes on another farmhouse that looked lootable, but seeing it surrounded by corpses, Jax finds a safe spot to park his car and begins doing what he does best. Finding his way in through a side window like a true burglar, Jax hops through the window, seeing that the house is secure, deeming it a safe spot to lay his head for the night. Getting sick of sleeping in any random house that he can find, Jax knows that he's getting closer to Muldra, praying to himself that his brother's there so he can finally find a new home. After stuffing his belly full and finishing his morning routine, Jax gets back into his truck and continues his journey to Muldra. Feeling the truck engine beginning to sputter and misfire, the truck suddenly jolts, then stops. The survivor feels it in his gut. He knows this can't be good. After examining the engine closely, the survivor deems the engine is dead. He has to pack everything useful into his bag and leave it behind. Slowly making his way away from his truck, he mourns all the things that he's going to lose, but he is hopeful that he can find something new. Spotting a broken down car on the side of the road, the survivor can't help but to feel like the luckiest man in the world, noticing that it is only missing a tire and seeing that the spare is laying right next to it. After taking down the unlucky couple, Jax thanks them as he starts to replace the missing tire. Finding the key off the husband's body, Jax is surprised at how easily the car starts and begins to pull the car over to where he left his truck. Attaching his trusty trailer and transferring all precious items from his truck over to his new Jeep, Jax feels a new sense of confidence, for he cannot fail to be thankful for how lucky he is to find this Jeep. After transferring everything of use over to his new Jeep, Jax spots his eyes on a radio tower and thinks maybe this is somewhere important. Observing that there are no corpses in the vicinity, Jax feels safe to leave the Jeep in the middle of the area and begins making his search. Finding nothing of importance and seeing that all the radios are dead, the survivor feels frustrated and fleeced, but then he remembers he found the Jeep and reminds himself that luck rarely strikes twice. Finally making it to Muldra, the survivor begins to drive around the roads and quickly begins to realize that the entire city is overrun. Jax begins to say a prayer to himself, hoping that his brother didn't walk into this death trap. As a boarded-up house catches the survivor's eye, Jax thinks that this could be a potential house that his brother had stayed at. Not realizing the massive horde that has begun to pursue the sound of his engine, Jax begins to panic, fumbling his keys, dropping them on the ground.